What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from IRL International Racing League Season 7 F2 League. And it is F1 2019 on the PS4 platform. This is round 6 of the F2 series here at Paul Ricard, aka the France International Airport, because it's so freaking big and there's so much runoff area. But let's run down our driver lineup. We've got almost a full grid today. Paco Suarez is going to be in the factory Renault. Jack Mia in the Toro Rosso. Rowan Lakely haven't seen him in a couple weeks. He's back in the Ferrari. Shay Fox is going to be in the Williams. Sam Thompson in the factory Renault as well. T. Jonas, your championship points leader in the Mercedes. Nelson Santos in the Red Bull Racing. Ryan Hareen is going to be in the other Williams. Diego Valesca in the McLaren. Bjorn Langfeld is going to be in the other Mercedes. Can Vilhoen Racing Point. Joe Hollis in the McLaren. Harry Cooper Alfa Romeo, followed by his teammate Kevin Harrison. IRL Marcel. It's Marcel Holler. Haven't seen him in a while. He's going to be in the WAS. And Luis Wassman is going to be in the other Racing Point. We've got Jamie Griffiths and Cameron Armstrong, who have yet to be assigned to a car for today's race. But 18 drivers on the grid today and some old faces there. Marcel Holler, he was F2 the last couple seasons. He hasn't run a full schedule this year, but very fast driver. He's got a couple of wins and podiums to his credit, along with a couple of pole positions. But speaking of pole positions, Racing Points, Can Vilhoen went and got pole last week, and that is his second pole position of the season. So Racing Point is 4 for 5 so far this year. 80% success rate during qualifying. The only time a Racing Point hasn't qualified on the front or on the pole position was back in round 4 at Monaco, where Ryan Hareen went home and got that. But last week we were at Canada. Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. It was a pretty exciting race. Had 18 cars on the grid. I had Jared Fosbury with me in the booth. And look at, here's another old face. Eric Pettington. Looks like he'll be spectating. But had Jared Fosbury with me in the booth last week. Not racing again this week, it looks like. He's currently working on his wheelcraft and a rig, so trying to get himself situated to come back to racing sooner rather than later. But T. Jonas walked away with his second win of the season to extend his points lead. Can Vilhoen came home second. It was his third podium of the season. And Ryan Hareen with his second podium finish. He was doing third. Shay Fox was fourth. Kevin Harrison was fifth. Bjorn Langfeld was sixth. Jamie Griffiths came home 7th, Eduardo Merida was 8th, Harry Cooper 9th, and Luis Wassman 10th. And Luis Wassman caught up in a multi-lap altercation last week with a driver by the name of Ozonola. Ozonola is no longer going by Ozonola, he's now Nola Fima. Found that out yesterday, and it looks like we've got Eduardo Merida joining in, so we're going to have, looks like a full grid almost. But Luis Wassman, he did come home 10th. He did pick up a championship point, and that was because Andre Yamil's car actually came across the grid 10th, but he had left the session. It was an AI car, and IRL rules forbid once you leave a race session, you're not able to rejoin due to the corner cutting glitch in the game that has yet to be fixed by Codemasters. And at this point, I don't think that they are going to fix it, since F1 2020 will be coming out in July. And through the pit lane says, yo, what's up, Fox? I don't know who that is. I want to say Reese March off the top of my head. That's not him. Who are you? But Ozonola, now Nola Fima, I don't think he's coming back to IRL. He may have a race ban. I didn't get clarification before the race. I'm sure Jared Fosbury or somebody can clarify that for me in the live chat here in a few minutes. But Ozonola was credited with a DNF as he rage quit, and 12th through 18th were all DNFs, in fact. Ozonola, Nelson Santos, Paco Suarez. It is Reese March in the pit lane. Paco Suarez, Joe Hollis, Sam Thompson, Thomas Mumford, and Diego Valesca. Now, Diego Valesca and Thomas Mumford didn't technically get credited with DNFs. They were disqualified from the round, going backwards on the track, which doesn't take very long in F1 for you to be disqualified for that. They had a couple of on-lap excursions, I should say off-lap excursions, that cost them to go backwards. And Reese March getting ready for the F3 race. Good to know that he's still racing in IRL. He was the F2 last year. Didn't quite have the speed. Again, another driver trying to switch from controller to the wheel, and he's had a little bit of difficulty doing it, but he's working his way back up to his race pace. As you see, a lot of cars heading out onto track now. It looks like the first one out on track may have been Jack Mia, and he's out on the hard tires. And Paco Suarez and Sam Thompson both credited with DNFs. That is their third DNF. And actually, there's a lot of drivers in the league that have 3 DNFs to their credit. Jared Fosbury, unfortunately, being one of them. Diego Velasco, Sam Thompson, Paco Suarez, Maxie Wilcox. And I believe Maxie Wilcox, I think we touched on it last week, but I believe he has a league ban for IRL. And I can tell you, after yesterday's Hit the Apex Racing League Assists race at HTARL, which I also commentate for, Maxie Wilcox is also banned from that league as well for on-track altercations with other drivers. So, don't think we'll be seeing Maxie Wilcox anytime soon in a lot of different leagues. So, 18-minute short qualifying session, followed by a 50% race here at Paul Ricard. Looks like it's a bright, sunshiny day here for qualifying. Obviously, no hot laps have been started just yet. But guys to keep an eye on, championship points leader T. Jonas. That is Halvor Troviant. We're just going to call him T. Jonas. But he is your championship points leader. He is followed by Kevin Harrison in the point standings. Now, Harrison lost some ground. He was 11 points behind last week, but T. Jonas picking up another win, and unfortunately, Harrison coming home in 5th. So the points gap is definitely spread out a lot, and Harrison's got his work cut out for him, especially in this shortened Season 7, as they're going to try and get Season 7 out of the way and make preparations for the new F1 2020 game coming out in July. Now, from what I understand and how IRL has done things in the past, even though the game will be released in July, I don't think that they'll start a league until August, possibly even September. They do try to give the Codemasters crew enough time to try and fix any type of online issues and with the updates and whatnot. So, but definitely keep news for that. We're currently watching Kevin Harrison. Looks like he might be on a timed lap now. And he is out on the medium tires. Looks like Harry Cooper, T. Jonas, and Cameron Armstrong, the only 3 drivers out on softs. Medium seems to be the preferred tire, and Cameron Armstrong is the first driver to set a time as he comes across the line at a 1:33.02. Ken Vilhoen, 1:32.143. That is on the hard tires versus the soft, so you can see the huge time difference. Harry Cooper set the time with a 1:32.48 on the soft tires. Sam Thompson comes across 1:32 flat in the mediums, and Jack Mia went 1:33.9. So you can definitely see the time difference there between the soft tires. Cameron Armstrong 1:33.02, Harry Cooper with a 1:32.48. Shay Fox is the fastest driver now on the medium tires at a 1:31.365. So about a second and a half difference between the mediums and the softs. And you see T. Jonas just went 1:38.93. So time's starting to come in. Looks like Luis Wassman's going 1:31.883, good enough for 5th so far on the medium tires. And Ken Vilhoen is currently the fastest driver on the hards at a 1:32.086. Right now, that has dropped him all the way to 8th. See Kevin Harrison's come across 1:31.201. And certainly going to wish Reese March good luck today in his F3 race. And oh, G. Russell 89. That is good old Diego Velasca, and he has got a 5-place grid penalty for a severe collision with Nelson Santos. So Diego is going to have his work cut out for him. And I'm not sure. It looks like Nelson Santos was on a timed lap, as was Diego. Diego is going to blow through everything here at the landing strip. to get back to the pits. Probably needs a new front wing. Looks like he's got end plate damage on that right front. So Diego's qualifying session off to a really rough start. We're going to pick up IRL Marcel Holler. Haven't seen him much this season. He's done F2 the past couple of years. He looks like he's currently on a time lap in the Haas. Last time I saw Marcel, I believe he was driving one of the Alfa Romeos. He comes across the line. 132.587, good enough for 14th quickest so far. And we've got a number of drivers yet to set a time. Obviously, Nelson Santos was involved in the altercation with Diego Velasco. We've got Joe Hollis, who's yet to set a time, and Bjorn Langfell, that is the teammate to championship points leader T. Jonas. And Reese is going to be signing off for now as he gets ready to tackle the F3 race, also at Paul Ricard. So you guys, as much as I love having you here with me, if you've got a driver that you're looking for and he's not here in F2, he might be in F3, so you can also check that out as well. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel because you can also check out the F1 videos. F1 raced yesterday, and today we're doing F2 and F3 series. And also, you can look out for some new videos coming. IRL just started this week it's a Dirt Rally 2 championship. Currently 12 stages being run this week in New England for the IRL Dirt Rally 2 championship. Now, there isn't going to be any live streams of that because of the way the game is set up, but there may be some videos in the near future of maybe some guys' runs to the finish, or possibly a compilation video of some of the highlights. We'll see what we can get to come out to you, but be sure to look out for that. And be sure to check us out on Twitter at IRL_F1. Or it might be at F1_IRL, I believe is what it is. You can also check us out online, International Racing League-IRL.com. But be sure to look out for that. I'm currently racing in the IRL Dirt Rally Championship, currently 5th in the New England round. I believe it's going to be 6 rounds total, and it looks like Luis Wassman is on an out lap. And he's on the medium tires. Now he's going 131.883. He's got a couple of pole positions to his credit this year. We've got a yellow flag, sector 3, 9 minutes left to play in the session. We're going to ride along with Luis Wassman here at Paul Ricard, one of the, as they say, OG, one of the original F1 tracks from yesteryears. Obviously not what it once was in relations to runoff. Oh, and a big case of snap oversteer for Luis Wassman trying to get out onto that backstretch coming out of that sweeping right-hander. That'll cost him a little bit of time. You can look there on the dash, 204, 205, 208, 209 miles an hour before he has to slam on the binders and slow it down for this hairpin. Actually, I should say it's chicane down this backstretch. And then back on the gas, and it looks like he's going to creep into the 200 mile an hour range again. And Diego Velasco has retired from the session. So he is going to be locked in at a 132.474. Plus he has that 5-spot grid penalty. Good chance that he will be starting at the very end of the field as we continue to ride along with Luis Wassman, currently classified 10th quickest. Now Harry Cooper just at the fastest lap at a 129.896. He is the first driver to crack into the 129s. And Luis Wassman does improve his time, but only up to 9th position. So we're going to pick up Kevin Harrison. Now, Canville Hoon in the other racing point just went 1:31.044. Is good enough for 5th. Gonna ride along with Kevin Harrison. He just came across 1:32.69, so he's still 0.3 off. Looks like he might still be on a hot lap. Harrison, you ride along with him, you can tell it's very smooth driving style. Very calm, collective, minimal inputs. Looks like he's a little slower down that backstretch than Luis Watson was. Watson was 2:09 heading into a speed trap, and it looks like Harrison was only at 198, so maybe he's a little off the throttle a little bit. He may not be on a hot lap. Maybe he's just trying to get back to the pits relatively quickly. Yellow flag flies sector 1. Yellow flags are going to fly here in qualifying all an awful lot. People are going to be cutting corners, trying to get back to the pits. It's a little annoying. And it looks like Harrison is going to dive into the pits. So I appreciate the fact that Kevin Harrison, even though he was going into the pits, stayed on the track to do so. Eduardo Morita has gone a 1:38.89, good enough for 6th quickest. That's a good qualifying effort for him. And now Canville Hoon has just switched over to soft tires. He was the first driver on the mediums. It looks like a lot of guys are switching over to softs now. We've got Sam Thompson out on a out lap, it looks like. Actually, he might be on a timed lap. And JSG247 on the live chat saying this track is horrible, and I could not agree with you even more. It is definitely not one of my favorites. Doesn't even resemble the track that it once was. There's no natural terrain to it anymore. I like to call it the France International Airport because there's so much runoff area. You could land a 747 on this track with no issue. Actually, you could probably land a lot of them on this track with no issues. It's just absolutely ridiculous to me. But unfortunately, Formula One is all about the money these days. It is not about legacy or even good racing for that matter. The one thing I will say about Paul Ricard, though, as terrible of a track as it is in reality, through my years of commentating, it's actually made for some fairly good online racing. And we see Sam Thompson just went 3rd quickest. That is a great qualifying effort for him, a 1:30.028. But I do remember that SRL had a really, really epic race here a couple seasons ago. As we see, Ryan Hareen has now gone 1:29.542. He takes down Harry Cooper off of the top step. So Ryan Hareen has set the precedent at a 1:29.542, 0.3 of a second quicker. And time is winding down with 3 minutes left to play in the session. And Shay Fox saying his car feels like a 747 sometimes. Well, the good news there, Shay, is that if you have an off, there's plenty of runoff area for you to never hit anything. So, and speaking of Shay Fox, he is currently classified 12th quickest at a 1:31.365. Did that on the medium tires. So we see the top 9 times now are all drivers that have set times on softs. Paco Suarez is the first driver set a time on mediums. Now, he's currently in the pits and could be switching over to softs. We're going to pick up Joe Hollis in the other McLaren. McLaren looking a little rough this season. Diego Valesco in the other McLaren. Again, his time is locked in at a 1:32.474. Plus the 5-spot grid penalty, so he will definitely start at the end of this field because right now his time is only good enough for 17th quickest. We got a lot of guys coming out on out laps. 2-minute warning coming up. So going to be a lot of drivers going to be making some last-ditch efforts. You see how many drivers are still in the pits. So try and keep up with everybody that's coming out and who's on a timed lap and who's not. I do want to pick up, though. I want to pick up Marcel Haller in the Haas. On the soft tires, making his IRL F2 Season 7 debut. Haven't seen him since last year sometime. Couldn't even tell you the last time I saw Marcel Haller on track. Might have actually been Season 5. Try to look through the notes here at some of these races that we've done in the past. Get a yellow flag, sectors 1 and 2. Less than a minute to go until the flag drops on what's been a pretty quiet qualifying session so far. Ryan Hareen, 1:29.542 is your provisional pole setter. Now he's on an out lap on the soft tires. It looks like a lot of drivers have switched over to softs, making a last-ditch effort to try and capitalize on what looks to be cooling track conditions as the sun has gone behind the clouds a little bit and it's become a little overcast. The track temperature is going to drop a little bit. Riding along with Marcel Haller and Joe Hollis just retired from the session, it looked like. That wasn't Joe Hollis, that was another Haas. But speaking of Joe Hollis, 1:29.814, good enough for second. So good qualifying effort, and he is locked in at a 1:29.8. Ryan Hareen's not going to be able to come back around. And Marcel Haller only good enough for 10th. Harry Cooper coming down the backstretch. Canville Hoon locked in at the 1:30.012. Luis Wassman 1:31.53. So Racing Point will not get back onto the top step for pole position. We're going to pick up Bjorn Langfeld. Oh, and looks like T. Jonas has invalidated his time. So we go back to Harry Cooper. Harry Cooper's coming out of the final corner now. Does he have anything for these guys? He's going to come across the line. 1:29.775. He does go second quickest. Behind him is going to be Kevin Harrison, it looks like. Kevin Harrison's going to come across the line. 1:30.071. He improves his time, not his position, still 7th quickest. Here comes Bjorn Langfell, and he's got a Renault behind him, so Bjorn's going to go 7th quickest. And it looks like Paco Suarez goes 12th quickest now. T. Jonas has invalidated his time. Eduardo Morita has invalidated his time. Rowan Lakely's invalidated his time. So there you have it, folks. Qualifying is up. All these three drivers have invalidated their times on their way back to the pits. Time is up, and Ryan Hareen finds himself with a second pole position of the season. And looks like we lost somebody. So that is Ryan Hareen's second pole position of the year. Now, he had pole back at round 4 at Monaco. Unfortunately, that race did not end well for him. He came home 7th that day. And we've got Ivan Brito on the live chat. So here is your starting order. Ryan Hareen, Harry Cooper, Joe Hollis, Canville Hoon, T. Jonas, Sam Thompson, Bjorn Langfell, Kevin Harrison, Luis Waspin, Cameron Armstrong, Marcel Haller, Paco Suarez, Jack Nia, Eduardo Merida, Shay Fox, Jamie Griffiths, Rowan Lakely, Diego Velasco, and Nelson Santos. And I believe those two are going to be swapped. Velasco is going to be starting in the 19th position. But good to see Ivan Brito with us on the live chat, former F2 and then F3 driver. Unfortunately, he's had to step away from some online racing this year due to some personal matters, so we certainly look forward to having him back on track in IRL with us, hopefully next season when the new game comes out. And it is, to my understanding, that F1 2020 will be the last Formula One game that Codemasters makes for the PlayStation 4 platform. I don't know how true that rumor is, but with the PS5 coming out, it looks like they're going to concentrate their efforts on the PlayStation 5. And it looks like Jamie Griffiths is having some internet issues. He was here, he left, he was back, and now he's gone again. So Griffiths is having some issues. And it does look like Ivan Brito said he's going to return to SRL this season, which is good news. That is one of the other 3 leagues that I commentate for. So a lot of overlap with some of the drivers and some of the leagues, but he did do some good racing in SRL, so we look forward to having him back on track there as well. So we'll wait for the game to reset here, and we're going to do a formation lap. So Ryan Hareen starting on pole for the second time this season. We'll see if he can work his way to the top step of the podium at the end of this race and walk away with a win. Harry Cooper has shown flashes of speed this season, but he hasn't had the finishes to back it up, but he starts in second spot. It's his best possible chance of getting a podium, which he hasn't had this season so far. Canville Hoon coming off of a second place run at Canada. He's going to be starting in the 4th spot, which is kind of odd since it looks like we're missing 3rd, so outside. Classification's a little screwed up there, isn't it? I guess maybe because Jamie Groves. So we'll say Canville Hoon starting in the 3rd spot. A bit of a hiccup there. T. Jonas, your championship points leader, as I try to get my bearings, is going to be starting in the 4th spot, possibly 5th. He's your championship points leader. See if he can work his way through the field, get onto that podium step. And Sam Thompson had a good qualifying effort, one of his best qualifying efforts of the season. And see if he can put himself a good race together and put some points on the board for Team Renault, as he's going to be filling in for the Jared Falsbury, it looks to be. And Paco Suarez and Machine Fishy have left the session. So are we having an internet issue? Harry Cooper's left the session. So Jack Mia's left the session. So I'm going to assume that we're going to reset this. Jamie Griffiths has called for a restart, so I'll wait for everybody to leave the session and wait for an invite to come in. So, got ourselves a migrating host. Looks like the lobby was glitched, and that was why I'm seeing 1, 2, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There was no 3rd place car. So that is unfortunate. Not often does this happen, probably more than people would like it to. Hopefully everybody's gotten the message to leave this current session, with the exception of Diego Velasco, who just came across the PSN chat and said, "What happened?" So what happened, Diego, is everybody's leaving this, the lobby's glitched, and this race start will not count. And it looks like everybody's left this session, and I will do the same. So, sorry for the hiccup, folks. Stick with us. We're going to get this restarted here. The lobby was glitched. I'll wait for a new invite to come across, but in the meantime, again, check us out on Twitter at F1_IRL. I believe that's what it is. Yes, at F1_IRL to keep up with all the news and notes. And be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. You get caught up with all the other racing And we certainly apologize for the technical difficulties. Codemasters, though, it's not that uncommon for such a thing to have happened. But let's talk real quick about the F1 2020 game coming out in July. I'm sure a lot of people have seen the trailer, heard the news. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the upcoming game. Looks like there seems to be some focus on being able to make your own F1 team, which I don't know why this is a thing that is just now being able to be done. Something every game should have is the ability to do something like that. Any racing game. That's kind of the beauty of Gran Turismo Sport. Granted, you can't make your own race team, but you can make your own liveries, put your own spin on them. F1, I think, is well overdue for a game option like that to start your own race team, whether it be with current drivers, you as yourself, or even make up a driver. We all know that EA does, the Madden football team where you can do your own mock draft, make your own football team sometimes. Even MLB The Show has the ability to let you make your own baseball team online for online play. So, something I think that should have been done a long time ago. There we go. Looks like we're getting back in here. So I don't know who or what glitched the lobby. I don't know who's in charge of setting up the new one, but I'm sure they will take a look at the footage that we had from qualifying, and they will set the grid in the appropriate order. And just real quick, we'll run down the driver lineup again. Machine Fishy in the Williams, that is Shay Fox. EVR_Sam team is Sam Thompson. In the Factory Renault Lux 044 Mark is Joe Hollis. The McLaren Ryan 55X is Ryan Hareen in the Williams. Bjorn Langfell in the Mercedes. Paco Flores in the other Renault. G Russell 89 is Diego Valesco. He's in the McLaren. Rowan 26 is Rowan Lakely. Jack Mia is Jack Mia. Jack has a last name too, but I can't pronounce it, so we're just going to call him Jack Mia. Luis Wassman is in the Racing Point. Nelson Santos in the Red Bull Racing Machine. And T. Jonas is your championship points leader. He will be in the Mercedes. IRL Marcel Haller in the Haas. And Harry Cooper in the Alfa Romeo. Jamie Griffiths, who was one of the culprits of the suspected internet issues. We talked about how he joined, he left, he joined, he left. He was having some internet problems or lobby issues with the game. He'll be in the Red Bull racing car. Kevin Harrison is your championship points contender, currently second in points behind T. Jonas. He's in the Alfa Romeo. Eduardo Merida is in the Haas. Canville Hoon in the Racing Point. Cameron Armstrong, not in a car. There he is. He's in a Ferrari. And I am spectating because I am your lovely and wonderful commentator for this race. Now, we've already done the 18-minute short qualifying session. They'll set the grid as a custom grid based off of the qualifying results that we did get before the lobby got glitched. Then we're going to do a 50% race. Weather is going to be set to light cloud, which is what it was going to be under the dynamic standings when the race did start. So obviously we're going to stick with what the weather was going to be for the duration of the race. So that is going to be light cloud, which really seemed to help the soft tires as the track temperature stayed a little cooler. The guys were able to run obviously 2 seconds faster than the mediums and the hards, so maybe they'll be able to go an extra lap or two on the soft tires. The soft tires are probably going to give up somewhere between 6 and 8 laps, maybe 7 to 9 if you want to try and push it. And the pit stop delta here is relatively short, 18 to 20 seconds. It's pretty straight cut forward. You go in, you go out, it's on the front stretch. That's the one thing of Paul Ricard that has remained relatively unscathed in its updates, is that obviously they put in new structures and everything around the track, but the pit lane in the front straight is basically as it was. Not a whole lot of renovations there, maybe except for the interior of the building. So. And Eric Pettington, EFL F1, is spectating as well. I'm not sure if he's being a spotter or driving coach for one of the drivers. He's doing his own live stream, his own commentating. I'm not sure. Eric Pettington's an F1 driver, and he was a very contentious F2 driver last year. in fact, as it was to finish it out. Eric Pennington had 7 pole positions last year, 8 wins, 12 podiums, but he didn't make all the races, so he only came home second in the points last year. Kevin Harrison's your defending F2 champion. Harrison currently second in points behind T. Jonas. So here we go. I hope I was entertaining enough to stick with through this race restart. Unfortunately, the game glitched. We had a bad lobby. So custom grid should be set. We'll run down the qualifying order here during the formation lap and see what happens heading into what should be a fairly exciting race. I said it earlier, Paul Ricard is not a great track in reality, but it has made for some good online racing in the 3 leagues that I do commentate for. So I will say that from an entertainment standpoint, online racing, it's not horrible. It makes for a good show. In reality, it's pretty awful. So we wait for the drivers to hopefully get back to their original setups that they had going into the race to begin with. So hopefully everybody's setups were saved and nobody runs into a setup issue. And again, we're going to play with the weather that was handed to us at the original race start, which was light cloud through the duration of the race. No rain predicted in the forecast for those of you that like the rain. So here we go. Do we get a formation lap? We do get a formation lap. So Ryan Hareen, starting on pole for the second time this season, going to try and stay there and walk away with a win today. Harry Cooper starting in the second spot. See if he can snatch a win out from underneath of Ryan Hareen, has proved to be very fast so far this year. And Joe Hollis with a great qualifying effort. It's his best qualifying start of the season, starting in third in the McLaren. He's got Canville Hoon behind him. Canville Hoon has been very fast this year. He's got multiple pole positions to his credit. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get one today. He'll be starting in the 4th spot. See if he can work his way to a podium. And T. Jonas is your championship points leader. He's definitely going to want to get back to the podium spot and help retain his points lead. Sam Thompson with a good qualifying effort in 6th. He'll be starting on the soft tires as well. Bjorn Langfell is T. Jonas' teammate. He'll be starting in the 7th spot. See if he can work his way and put some points on the board. Kevin Harrison, though, he's your second in the championship point standings. He's got his work cut out for him as he starts 8th. See if he can work his way through the field and find himself on the podium again today. Luis Wassman coming off of a bit of a rough race last time out. Had a lot of on-track altercations with a driver that is no longer to be named or in the league, it looks like. He'll be starting 9th, and he'll be looking to make up for last week's 10th spot. Finishing position, see if he can put points on the board for Racing Point. Cameron Armstrong in the Ferrari is going to see if he can put some points on the board for Ferrari. And then Marcel Haller, who we haven't seen in a long time, he'll be looking to finish the race and maybe put some points on the board for Haas. It'd be good to see him back on track again, but he just lost the back end of the car under the formation lap, so not a great start for that. Paco Suarez starting deep in the field. He wasn't fast enough on the soft tires. He's got his work cut out for him as he starts in 12th. Jack Mia in the Toro Rosso is going to be in the 13th spot. Eduardo Morita, the other Haas. Now he's starting on the hard tires. He's the first driver to start on the hard tires, starting in the 14th spot. He's got Shea Fox behind him, also starting on hard, so they're going to be on an alternate tire strategy moving forward. Jamie Griffiths had internet issues in qualifying. He'll be starting in the 16th spot, see if he can work his way through the field, maybe put some points on the board. Rowan Lakely's also got his work cut out for him as he starts deep in the field. The 17th spot, Nelson Santos had an altercation and got hit into qualifying by Diego Valeska. He was going to be starting in 19th. He had a 5-spot grid penalty because of the contact with Nelson Santos. So here we go. We wait on the 5 red lights. Lights are out. Time to run what you brung. Their way to puff of smoke, and it's a good start by Harry Cooper and Joe Hollis as they go 3 wide down into the corner. It looks like Cooper got out just a nose in front of him.
Oh, but Hareen's got the more preferred line, and there's some shuffling going on in the back. And Ryan Hareen cut that corner a little tight. Hollis going to the outside of Harry Cooper. Oh, and now he's on the inside. They're rubbing and bumping, making some contact with each other. Looks like Canville Hoon's trying to get the 2-for-1 deal already as he tries to get to the inside. He does get in front of Hollis, and he's all over the gearbox of the Alfa Romeo. And a yellow flag sector 2. Looks like Sam Thompson's gone around, unfortunately. Sam Thompson, starting in the 6th spot, has already dropped all the way back to 18th. Marcel Holler is now in 19th. Meanwhile, Harry Cooper just lost out of position to... Well, there's a lot of shuffling going on there. Oh, it looks like Hollis blew the chicane. So he's going to fall through the field. Canville Hoon's going to take the 2nd spot away from Harry Cooper. So Joe Hollis must have missed the braking marker. Went through the chicane. He comes back out in the 6th spot. So he started 3rd. He's dropped to 6th. And Ryan Hareen already a 2nd gap over Canville Hoon. And T. Jonas has already worked his way into 4th, and he's got his teammate behind him for support. The 2 Mercedes running 4th and 5th. Uh-oh, and Paco Suarez. Looks like Suarez is running into an issue. And he's got some end plate damage on that right front wing. So him and Sam Thompson. It looks like Nelson Santos has lost a few spots as well. So lots of shuffling going on in the back. Meanwhile, 2nd through 9th are all relatively close to each other. See Eduardo Morita making a move. Oh, he's very wide going out of that corner. Shea Fox and Eduardo Morita, the 2 drivers that are on the hard tires. And they haven't made a whole lot of ground yet, but they did get in front of Jamie Griffiths. Oh, and Griffiths gives a little love tap to Shea Fox's Williams. Meanwhile, back towards the front, we've got T. Jonas looking to make a move on Harry Cooper. He's got the slipstream. He doesn't have the DRS. It hasn't been enabled yet, but T. Jonas trying to use good old-fashioned slipstream. Harry Cooper slams the door on him, cuts across the nose of the car, and he's going to defend that position. T. Jonas going to see if he can find a way around him. It looks like Shea Fox and Eduardo Morita swapping spots again, 11th and 12th. T. Jonas to the inside. Cooper's going to try and hang tough. And to the inside, around the sweeping right-hander, he's going to try and push him wide. Harry Cooper hangs on to the spot. Cooper's going to try and push him wide as well. Oh, it's very close there. There's so much runoff here. It's very easy to get tangled, and these guys are very close, running side by side with each other. And he's finally going to get the spot. No, he gets a little bit of help from Cooper. They just touched a little bit. Oh, Paco Suarez just picked up a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. DRS has finally been enabled, and Harry Cooper loses out that spot officially now. T. Jonas in the 3rd, and Harry Cooper finds himself in the middle of a Mercedes sandwich, and he is the meat. Bjorn Langfell all over the back of Harry Cooper. Meanwhile, Ryan Hareen is still out in front. Whoo, did you see the slide job there? T. Jonas power sliding coming out of that corner, and Harry Cooper's got the DRS advantage. Coming down this back straightaway, can he get to T. Jonas before the braking point? No, he cannot. Oh, and a hard downshift high in the rev range. And it looks like T. Jonas is struggling a little bit with the rear grip on that car. You see the back end kick out again just a little bit. Cooper not able to make up much ground. Meanwhile, Kevin Harrison's making a move on Joe Hollis for the 6th spot. It looks like Cameron Armstrong. Ooh, Armstrong gets pushed wide there. Might have had a little bit of help from his teammate. And these two are side by side. That's a 3-second time penalty for Cameron Armstrong for cutting the corner. He gets pushed wide again. Oh, no. And now look at this. He's going back to the inside. These guys are getting held up a little bit by Luis Wassman. And here comes Rowan Lakely to the inside of Wassman. 3-car battle for the 8th spot. Wassman trying to hang on to it. Oh, and here come the 2 Ferraris. And now Wassman is the meat in a Ferrari sandwich. And Cameron Armstrong, now Cameron Armstrong is going to have the DRS advantage as they head down this long backstretch.
We got Brandon Glover with us on the live chat as well. I do want to throw that out there. Always good to have an F1 administrator or an IRL administrator with us here on the live stream as we watch Cameron Armstrong try and close this gap to Luis Wassman. Meanwhile, we've got Shay Fox and Jamie Griffiths. Griffiths. We got a three-car battle here. This is Eduardo Morita. Here we go. There we go. Jamie Griffiths, followed by Sam Thompson, Eduardo Morita, and Diego Velasco. Four-car battle for the 12th spot. And we've got guys already making pit stops here. Ken Vilhoun dives into the pits. That's awfully early to be jumping in the pits for these soft tires. He's going to switch over to a set of mediums. Cameron Armstrong, meanwhile, still trying to find a way around Luis Wassman. And he gets a good run coming out of turn 2. He's to the inside of him. Oh, Wassman got a little bit better of a drag setup, but to the inside goes Armstrong. And it looks like he's got that spot. Wassman loses out, and now he's under threat from Shay Fox. Shay Fox, the first driver on hard tires. Now, the first driver to make a pit stop was Ken Vilhoun. We've got a battle for second spot here. T. Jonas and Harry Cooper going back and forth with each other again. And Harry Cooper, he got in front of him, and then he was able to not hang on to it. Meanwhile, Ryan Hareen is out in front to the tune of 3 seconds. Wassman and Armstrong still fighting for position. And again, Armstrong's going to get to the inside of him. Wassman's going to try and get it back. Not going to be able to make that work. Joe Hollis working on Kevin Harrison. Meanwhile, Harry Cooper still trying to find a way around T. Jonas. That's very close. Cooper looks like he thought about it, but then thought twice. Very fast 1-2 complex down that small hill. It's about the only elevation change in this frickin' track. Cooper hanging tough, though. Now, these guys are actually closing the gap down to Ryan Hareen. Ryan Hareen was out in front by about 3 seconds. It's now down to 2.6. Here goes Harry Cooper to the inside with the DRS, and he's going to be able to get that move done before the braking zone, and he is now back into second spot. But look at T. Jonas. Jonas is just hounding him. Now Jonas is going to use a good old-fashioned slipstream move. He can't get to the inside, backs off just a little bit. Meanwhile, it looks like we've had a change for position back here. We got Luis Wassman, Shay Fox going side by side through the sweeping right-hander, the Williams of the Racing Point. Oh, and Jack Mia has left the session. Might be an internet issue. Jack Mia currently running down into the 18th spot. That will be inconsequential to his race results, I'm sure, as we see Shay Fox still trying to find a way around Luis Wassman. Oh, what a great move. No, it's not a great move. That's just Luis Wassman diving into the pits. It looks like we got a lot of drivers diving into the pits now. Ryan Hareen stayed out. Bjorn Langfeld now becomes your second place car as Harry Cooper and T. Jonas dived into the pits. Jamie Griffiths has retired from the session. So Griffiths is going to be the first of DNS. And we've got a virtual safety car. Now this is going to benefit the guys that have already pitted for fresh tires. You see Harry Cooper comes out in 13th spot. He is ahead of T. Jonas, who he was battling it out with. They've both switched over to hard tires.
Shea Fox, your first driver on hard tires, now finds himself sitting at the 7th spot under the virtual safety car. Kevin Harrison into the 3rd spot. It looks like we'll have a 3-car battle for 2nd spot once we go back to green flag racing, which unfortunately under the virtual safety car could be at literally any moment. So if you're stuck on the straightaway and it goes green, that's good news. If you're stuck at a hairpin turn and it goes green, that's kind of unfortunate for you. Still under the virtual safety car because of the incident with Jamie Griffiths. He becomes the first of 19 drivers to DNF. And we're back to green flag racing, and it looks like Bjorn Langfeld got a good jump on Kevin Harrison and Joe Hollis. Now the cars are separated out a little bit. Diego Valesco, though, finds himself in the 10th spot, fighting for 9th with Sam Thompson. Now Thompson's on some very worn out soft tires. It looks like he'll be losing a little bit of time to the mediums. It's going to last a little bit longer. Kevin Harrison. Oh, and Harrison looks like he's had an issue. Is he trying to get into the pits? And look, all of these cars are diving into the pits. So Shea Fox is going to be able to move up into the 2nd spot. Rowan Lakely stayed out on the soft tires. Now, I believe the pit stop window for the softs was around 6 to 8 laps, so Rowan Lakely's still in that kind of that pit stop window. Marcel Holler just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Harry Cooper moves into 9th. That was that battle for 2nd spot early on. So Rowan Lakely is your leader, 4.5 seconds in front of Shea Fox. Currently running in 2nd, he's got Eduardo Morita on the hard tires as well. Now these two have been with each other for most of the race. Oh, we got a battle here. This is Marcel Holler, Sam Thompson going side by side. Now this is 7-lap-old mediums versus 7-lap-old softs. Thompson doesn't look like he's going to be able to hold off Marcel's to the inside guard, gets a little wiggly over, had a little bit of a tank slapper coming out of that corner. So Thompson's able to hang on to it for now. And now Holler back to the inside, running a little bit of an unconventional line, trying to make something work and get past Sam Thompson. Now, he may not know Thompson's on those soft tires, but Thompson should be coming into the pits, and he is coming into the pits now, so Holler will move up a spot. And Shea Fox is going to take the lead of this race as Rowan Lakely pits for a new set of tires. And Eduardo Morita is actually closed the gap down to Shea Fox. He was just within DRS range. Diego Valesco, I'll hand it to him. He started in the 19th spot. He is now up to 3rd. Marcel Holler running in 4th. Canville Hoon is in 5th. And Ryan Hareen, who was the pole sitter and leader of this race, finally makes his first stop. Comes out 6th. And Ryan Hareen and Harry Cooper. Now this is a battle for what is essentially going to be the lead of this race with some of these other guys pit. Cooper's been looking strong in that Alfa Romeo all day, fighting it out with T. Jonas, and now he's fighting it out with Ryan Hareen. A couple of big dogs in this league. Closing in under braking. Medium tires versus hards. Now Ryan Hareen's probably going to run those hards to the end of this race. Cooper's probably going to have to make another pit stop before this is all over. And it looks like Kevin Harrison just got around Nelson Santos, put him into the 11th spot. Diego Valesco is closed the gap down to Eduardo Morita.
But Diego's got Calhoun all over the back of him. And Jamie Griffith's asking on the live chat, saying that Jack's car wasn't ghosted even though he lagged out. And I don't know a 100% answer to that question. I don't know if Jack Mia lagged out or not. Also, and I get my leagues mixed up sometimes, but I don't know that there's ghosting in IRL if a car lags out. Now, I do know for a fact that SRL does not run ghost cars if a car lags out. I'm not 100% sure about IRL, and I don't know if that was the case or not. Unfortunate for you, my friend. Jimmy Griffith's going to be classified 19th as we watch this 4-car battle. Now, this is Calhoun just got in front of Diego Velasco, the pass for 3rd spot. He's going to set his sights on Eduardo Marina. Now, Velasco doesn't look like he's necessarily done with this battle, and Marcel Holler is involved in this as well. So, basically got ourselves a 4. Actually, it's really going to be a 5-car battle for these top 3 spots. You see there, that's the leader, Shea Fox, and then we're watching Eduardo Marina, and he's got Calhoun all over the back of him. Behind him is Diego Velasco and then Marcel Holler. So all these cars relatively close together with one another. Shea Fox runs a little wide coming out of that corner. DRS slot open for Eduardo Marina. He's not going to be close enough to make a move. And it doesn't look like any of these guys are close enough to one another to make a move. However, Harry Cooper is still battling it out with Ryan Hareen to try and get in front of him, which is essentially going to be for the lead of this race once these top 6 runners pit in front of them. And Vilhoon to the inside, side by side to that sweeping right-hander. Oh, and Vilhoon trying to hang tough, make it work. He's going to get squeezed a little bit. And back to the inside comes Eduardo, and Eduardo tried to make it work. A little bit of snap oversteer there. I don't know if there was some contact there between him and Vilhoon, but Eduardo Marina is going to lose out on that spot. And now Shea Fox is going to be next on the hit list for Vilhoon. To the outside goes Vilhoon. Can he make it work? Slams the door. Vilhoon is now the leader of this race going into turn 1. And a 3-second time penalty for Diego Velasco. That's unfortunate for him, currently running in 4th. Now, I know for a fact that this track is going to wreak havoc, and IRL Marcel Holler just picked up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting as well. This track is going to wreak havoc on some of these drivers as far as the time penalties go. It's so easy to exceed the track limits at this track, obviously because there's absolutely no penalty for a runoff except for time. The track is wide open for everybody. Ooh, and you see there, Marcel thought about trying to get to the inside of Diego, and now there's a 3-second time penalty for Cameron Armstrong. Cameron currently running in the 15th spot, battling it out with Luis Wassman in the 14th position. Ooh, and look at the switch over. Great move. He does a NASCAR-style slide job to get in front of him. And that is Marcel Holler trying to get in front of Diego Velasco. They bang wheels a little bit. There's a caution flag flying in Sector 3. That may have been Sam Thompson. Oh, and Ryan Hareen picks up a 5-second time penalty. What has happened to Ryan Hareen? Oh, and he's to the outside of Ryan Hareen's race has fallen apart. Nelson Santos, 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Does he have any wing damage? And it looks like he does. Ryan Hareen looks like he's got right front end plate damage. And a time penalty to boot. Harry Cooper. Looks like Cooper, he's serving a time penalty as well. What has happened between Harry Cooper and Ryan Hareen? Those two were battling it out very hardcore, back and forth with each other.
So a penalty, a new nose, some new shoes for Harry Cooper. That's the trifecta. That's kept him in the pits a very long time. He's going to come out in the 17th spot. And Eduardo Morita and Shay Fox battling it out for third. Actually, for second, I should say, as Canville Hoon has gotten by these guys. It started to stream away. But Shay Fox and Eduardo Morita side by side through the sweeping right-hander. Oh, and it's very close coming through here. You see Morita dives into the inside. And Marcel Haller behind them in the 4th spot. Diego Velasco still hanging tough with them. He's all over the back. And he's going to dive into the pit. So here comes T. Jonas. So finally, Shay Fox is going to pit. So those top 3 guys are all going to pit. Actually, Shay Fox stays out. Getting my cars mixed up. My dyslexia is kicking my butt today. All right, so Morita gets to the inside. That's for the 2nd position with Shay Fox. These guys have not yet pitted. T. Jonas moves into 4th. And they are side by side with each other. Very tight through here. A couple of switchbacks. We'll see if Shay can put the power down, maybe get a crossover move done. Nope, he's going to lose the back end a little bit. Paco Suarez just moved up a couple of positions to 12th. Shay Fox to the inside with the DRS. Through the chicane. And Joe Hollis making a move on Bjorn Langfell. Good on Hollis to get up there, and now he's running in the 5th spot. Meanwhile, we continue to watch this incredible battle between Eduardo Morita and Shay Fox for the 2nd spot. Both started deep in the field. Both started on the hard tires. Have yet to make a pit stop. And Marcel Haller just picked up another 3-second time penalty. I believe that's the 2nd one for him today. And it looks like Shay Fox is finally going to dive into the pits after 13 laps. So Eduardo Morita is going to get the 2nd spot, but he's going to bring T. Jonas with him. Now, T. Jonas is also on hard tires, but they're a little bit fresher than his. They only got 8 laps on him. T. Jonas, your championship points leader. Meanwhile, Bjorn Langfell is trying to find a way around Joe Hollis. He lost that position out to him a couple laps ago. And Shay Fox is going to drop all the way back to the 15th spot. But he's going to be on relatively fresh mediums. Shay Fox is a fairly quick driver, so he could work his way back into the points. Fastest lap was just ran by Harry Cooper. Unfortunately, Harry Cooper is all the way back in the 17th spot after that incident he had with Ryan Hareen. Now, Ryan didn't pit. Ryan does have a 5-second penalty, I believe. So Ryan Hareen currently in 8th. Sam Thompson and Paco Suarez battling it out for the 11th spot. And actually, it looks like this is a 3-car battle for the 11th spot. They are 5 seconds behind Cameron Armstrong for 10th. So no championship points at stake here. And it looks like Morita is finally going to pit. So that will move T. Jonas back into 2nd spot. And your leader will be Canville Hoon. And Eduardo Morita is still dropping through the field. He comes out of the pits and in the 13th spot. And Rowan Lakely just picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. So 11 laps to go in this race. Bjorn Langfeld starting to look at Joe Hollis for third. Hollis has worked his way back to the third spot. That's where he started this race. He's worked his way there through the pit sequence. And it looks like a lot of these guys on medium tires are going to be making at least one more pit stop. We'll see who pits late. Maybe for a set of fresh softs with a few laps to go, see if they can run the fastest lap, maybe gain a few positions, maybe get that bonus point for running the fastest lap of this race. Looks like Marcel Haller is making a move on Sam Thompson. Oh, but another 3-second time penalty for Haller. I believe that's 3 time penalties for him now. Oh no, and Thompson's all the way to the outside, loses the back end of the car. And Haller does a great job to stay out of that and avoids contact. And Ken Vilhoen has just pitted from the lead, so that hands it back over to T. Jonas. So Joe Hollis finds himself running in the second spot. Bjorn Langfeld, 2 Mercedes cars in podium positions. And Luis Wassman just went around his teammate as he was coming out of the pits. So the 2 racing points are now 7th and 8th. Mercedes are running 1st and 3rd. Kevin Harrison running in 4th. And Marcel Haller has left the session. Where is Marcel? And that might be an internet issue. He hasn't officially retired from the session. The car's still running. Shea Fox picking up a position over Diego Valesco. Eduardo Morita looks to be picking up a spot over Paco Suarez. Suarez not having a great race. Oh my goodness, Eduardo cuts that corner big time. That was definitely a warning. And this really is the closest battle on track. This is the last championship points paying position. And Morita to the inside. No, Suarez is going to be able to hold him off. But again, they go side by side. Morita trying to make it work. Almost blows the corner. He's able to hang on the spot, but he's let Shea Fox catch up to this battle. Shea Fox on the fresher mediums. Three-car battle for 10th, and to the inside goes Suarez. Gets that spot back from Morita, and now Shea Fox trying to go around the outside, gets pushed wide. Gets a good run coming out of the corner. He's going to be side by side with Eduardo Morita. And he lets Eduardo go by. And this is actually your closest battle on track right now. Is this 3-car battle for 10th. Every championship point counts. Oh, and he gets a little bit of the curbing there. That cost him some time. To the inside goes Shea Fox. No slide job this time. He's going to push him wide. And Eduardo is all over this track. Nelson Santos just picked up a 3-second time penalty. And Eduardo is going to run wide again. Now that is a couple of instances of running very wide. I haven't seen him get a time penalty yet. He's got to be working on his last warning for time penalties. Oh, they both run very wide coming out of there. Shea Fox trying to go 2 for 1, but he's not going to be able to get it done. Eduardo back out to 10th. Paco Suarez drops the spot, and around the outside, Shea Fox tries to go. He's going to switch it back over, and he's going to be able to pick up the 11th spot. And this 3-car battle is now starting to turn into a 4-car battle. Meanwhile, Canville Hoon and Ryan Hareen battling it out for 6th. Canville Hoon just got around Ryan Hareen for that position. Meanwhile, the battle rages on back here for 10th. Shay Fox to the outside. He's on the blue painted strip. Using all of the track that he had available to him. Goes around the outside. He's going to make it work. Oh no! What has happened to Shay Fox? Oh my goodness! What was that? Oh, and here comes one of the cars! Oh my goodness! Whew! Shay Fox almost got a T-bone steak for dinner. And it looks like he is going to be cutting all kinds of track regulations, 10-second time penalty, and he is going to pull into the pit, I'm sure. He's got wing damage. I don't know if he had an issue with his car, with his wheel, his controller, whatever the case may be. He's going to crash out into the pit lane. So that is going to retire him from the session, and that's going to bring out a virtual safety car, so that's going to be frowned upon. But I'm sure Shay Fox will give us here on the live chat hopefully a little bit of an idea of what happened there. It looks like his car just kind of, he turned in and then it just kind of snap oversteered and went straight. So he is going to be the second DNF of this race. Lap 20 of 27, virtual safety car right now. So I look forward to hearing some comment from Shay here on the live chat as to what happened there. And we're back to green flag racing. DRS is enabled. Get a little bit of a grid reset here. So T. Jonas is your championship points leader. He's also the leader of this race. He's got Joe Hollis behind him by 1.5 seconds. That's a great run for Joe Hollis. Bjorn Langfell is in third, and he's got Kevin Harrison starting to breathe down his neck a little bit. And Rowan Lakely with a 3-second time penalty. And there you go. Shay Fox says he got a snap oversteer at the right-hander, and he went head on into the wall and damaged his wing, and unfortunately called it a day. Harry Cooper with a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. I seem to see that penalty a lot, and that's the second time I think Cooper's gotten that today. Kevin Harrison to the inside of Bjorn Langfell for the third spot. So Bjorn tried to hold off Kevin Harrison as long as he could, being a good teammate, but Harrison finally works his way around. Ryan Hareen has just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Harry Cooper's going to be coming out of the pits on a fresh set of softs. Probably too little too late for Harry Cooper. He had such a good run going, but it looks like he got his pit sequence mixed up a little bit. And the battle for 10th continues. Diego Velasco, Eduardo Merida. It's actually Eduardo Merida in 9th. Paco Suarez and Diego Velasco, 9th, 10th, and 11th. This was a 4-car battle, and then behind them, they've got Sam Thompson and Marcel Hollard. I think Marcel left the session, so his car is AI at this point. Shay Fox has officially left the session. Unfortunate day for Shay. And it looks like Russell's lost touch with that battle just a little bit, but here comes Eduardo Merida. Now, he's got time penalties coming out of his wazoo for this race, so despite where he may finish, he's not going to get credited with the spot when he comes across the line in. But he gets a good run coming out of that corner as he went to the outside, gets the power down. They're side by side, heading into turn 1. Eduardo Merida's going to have the more preferred line, and he's going to get the job done, and that opened up the door for Diego Velasco. Now, Luis Wassman just ran the fastest lap of this race at a 1:32. But he is in 14th spot, so it doesn't matter. He would not get the championship point because you got to be in the top 10. Meanwhile, Kevin Harrison, and a 5-second time penalty for Harry Cooper.
exceeding the track limits, and it looks like Harry Cooper has gone off and crashed his car, so we've got another virtual safety car. So one thing I will say, we haven't seen a full course caution with the safety car. We've only had virtual safety cars. This is the third virtual safety car we've had today. And I'm sure it won't last long as the laps wind down. So Ryan Hareen has just dived into the pits. Joe Hollis picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to hurt him a little bit. He's trying to hold on to that second spot. A great run today by Joe Hollis. And we are back to green flag racing. And look at this, Paco Suarez trying to hold on to the 9th spot on 20-lap-old tires. And Suarez picks up a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, the battle for second, Harrison and Hollis going side by side there. That was at the chicane. And a strong run in the slipstream for Kevin Harrison gets to the inside of Hollis, and he's going to take that second spot. Hollis is going to try and come back, though. Ooh, all over the back of him. Almost gave the chrome horn. Gets the power back down. And Bjorn Langfeld's not done with this battle. He's closed into within a second. So 3-car battle for second spot as the laps wind down here at the French Grand Prix. And Paco Suarez and Eduardo Morita still going back and forth for the 8th spot. Harrison has a half-second gap over Joe Hollis. Hollis has a half-second gap over Bjorn Langfeld. And there is a Rowan Lakely starting to poke his nose into this battle. He's only 1.3 seconds off of that 3-car battle for the 6th spot. I'm sorry, for the 2nd spot. Meanwhile, Paco Suarez, Eduardo Morita, and Diego Velasco still battling it out in this 3-car train. This is 8th, 9th, and 10th. Meanwhile, Bjorn Langfeld is the closest he has been to the back of Joe Hollis' McLaren here in a number of laps. And things are starting to get a little hectic, and we've got some shuffling going on. Eduardo Morita looks like he's had an issue, maybe made some contact, lost the car, I'm not sure, but he's dropped down to 14th. He was a part of that 3-car battle with Paco Suarez and Diego Velasco, and those two are now side by side. Suarez trying to hang on to that 8th spot. And in yellow flag, Sector 3, Eduardo Morita retires from this session. And Luis Wassman just picks up a 3-second time penalty. No virtual safety car this time. And Luis Wassman all of a sudden finds himself running in the 9th spot. Oh no, and these two were bumping and grinding as they head down the front stretch. Oh, and there's another shoulder check. Diego Velasco into... Uh-oh. Okay, and now the McLaren is going to crash out of Diego Velasco. Yellow flag, Sector 1. I can't stress this enough, and I'm going to say this from a league standpoint. It is very, very much frowned upon for drivers to retire their cars in a crashing manner. So, and that is about the third driver I've seen do that this race. And there was no reason for Diego to do that. He was still running in the top 10. Points were still on the board for him. And to be fair, Diego Velasco, once again, we didn't talk about this a whole lot earlier, but last week, Diego, we see Joe Hollis trying to find a way around Kevin Harrison. Harrison slams the door. And now this is turning into a four-car battle for the second spot. Rowan Lakely has shown up to the party. And I'll get back to Diego Velasco in a second, but we are currently watching this battle at penultimate lap of this race. Now T. Jonas is out in front by 3 seconds, so everything's on the line for these guys here. DRS slot open for Joe Hollis in the McLaren as he runs down the backstretch. A 3-second time penalty just handed out to Calhoun. Side by side, he's got the more preferred line heading into the chicane. He's going to get in front of Kevin Harrison. Can Harrison come back? And all over the back of Harrison is Bjorn Langfell. Riding on board with these guys. Kevin Harrison still trying to find a way around Joe Hollis. Oh, and look at this. Langfell tries to get into the inside of that. Second, third, fourth, fifth. Final lap of what has been a crazy race here. That when Kevin Harrison picks up a 3-second time penalty, it looks like he blew the first corner. And that cost him, and that's going to cost him big time right now because he would drop from third all the way to what would be like 6th position, 5th position. So he would definitely lose a couple of spots. Rowan Lakely with a 3-second time penalty. So everything's up for grabs here for the second position. Second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth because Calhoun is starting to show his face into this battle. 1.5 seconds behind. Time penalties are going to be a huge, huge factor at the end of this race for these top 2 spots. I should say top 3 spots, but T. Jonas is well out in front, 3.5 seconds. So second through 6th is all up for grabs and will probably be shuffled around. Nobody close enough to make a move. Rowan Lakely actually did close up under braking, though. Again, time penalty is going to be a factor. Ryan Hareen is finding his way around Luis Wassman. And Sam Everett side by side. Sam with Paco Suarez. Now, those guys are teammates. Oh, no, and there's some shuffling going on between the Haasans, Eduardo Marina, Sam Thompson. And these two are trying to take each other out. Oh, that wasn't Sam Thompson. That was Paco Suarez. So Suarez and Eduardo Marina, no, that's Marcel Haller? What is going on back here? I'm not even sure what happened. Marcel Haller's not even in the car. T. Jonas, I missed the freaking battle back in freaking front. So Bjorn Langfell comes across the line. He's able to get second because of time penalties. Kevin Harrison third. Joe Hollis drops to fourth. Calhoun up to fifth. Rowan Lakely is 6th. Cameron Armstrong gets 7th. Ryan Hareen is 8th. Luis Wassman comes across the line. He will be credited with 9th. Sam Thompson, 10th. And Paco Suarez had that incident with Marcel Haller, and I'm not even sure Haller is still even in the car. And a 5-second time penalty will be handed out to Paco Suarez for a severe collision. What a crazy ending to this race. And Ivan Brito, yes, absolutely. Race clean, guys. I am 100% with you. I don't know what's going on back there in the back. So once again, Paul Ricard, as terrible as it is in real life, puts on another great show here for online racing. T. Jonas with another win.
And that is going to be his 3rd win of the season, his 2nd one in a row. Bjorn Langfeld with a great run to 2nd. Haven't seen him on the podium yet this year, so that's a good effort by him. And it looks like Kevin Harrison there in the Alfa Romeo. So here's your unofficial results as it stands right now. T. Jonas, Bjorn Langfeld, Kevin Harrison, your top 3. Joe Hollis with a hard-fought 4th position. Cam Vilhoun comes home 5th. Rowan Lakely 6th. Cameron Armstrong is 7th. Ryan Hareen 8th. Luis Wassman is 9th. And Sam Thompson is 10th. Paco Suarez 11th. Marcel Haller with 12th. Jack Mia 13th. And I believe Marcel Haller and Jack Mia both AI cars. Then we've got Nelson Santos, Diego Valesco, and Eduardo Maria, Harry Cooper, Shay Fox, and Jamie Griffiths, all with DNFs. And just to touch real quickly, as I tried to bring it up earlier, Diego Valesco crashing out. And we didn't talk about it earlier, but Diego Valesco had a 5-second time penalty to be assessed to his total race time from an incident back at Monaco. And that was supposed to be handed to him at Canada, but because he DNF'd at Canada, or disqualified, actually he was disqualified from the race at Canada, that 5-second time penalty carries over to this race, and because it was not served in this race because of the DNF, it will be handed over to the next race. So he will have a 5-second time penalty heading into the next round. So, T. Jonas, Bjorn Langfeld, Kevin Harrison. I'll see who I can get in here for a quick interview. Another crazy race at Paul Ricard. And I'm not even sure I'm friends with any of these people, but I will take a look here. What would probably help is if I separated all of my friends into their respective race leagues. Looks like I am friends with Joe Hollis, but that doesn't do us any good right this second. And yeah, it doesn't look like I'm friends with anybody. Nobody wants to be my friend. So I certainly apologize about that. I'll have to work on that. I'll have to get these guys to friend request me. So I wonder. See if I can get him in the party with me. Aha! Alright, so it looks like I'm able to get Kevin Harrison in here. So we'll get Kevin in here. Kevin will then be able to get the other 2 drivers in here. So good looking out on Kevin's part. So Kevin Harrison, another podium finish for him, unfortunately. And there is Kevin. Kevin, if you could suggest the other 2 players, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Yep, I'm getting them now.
And I guess while we've got you, Kevin, I mean, another podium finish, but unfortunately not able to finish in front of T. Jonas, so you're not able to close that championship points gap. Pretty hectic race there at the end. You did walk away with 3rd. Did you expect to get 3rd, knowing you had some time penalties stacked up against you?
Hang on, just need to get in the screen so you can hear me, because the stream won't hear me if I'm doing this, I think. Okay, there we go. Yeah, obviously I didn't beat TJ. I kind of need to be beating him, obviously being 2nd in the championship now, I think. I think I definitely could have, with how close I was by the end. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw it on stream, but I had a mistake. Me and Langfield had the same mistake, except I came off a lot worse, and it lost me position to Lux. If I didn't lose that position, I could have been right behind Langfield. Got past him a bit quicker, obviously, and then been on the back of TJ earlier when I still had the fuel to push. Because at the end, I had to save fuel. I just lost it all. So Yeah, it's not it's not what I need to be doing if I'm looking for the championship, which I am. So obviously, if you look at it the other way, though, he did that in 6 rounds, so I can do it in the other 6. I guess if you want to,
that's one way to look at it.
That. So yeah, half season over, still the other half to go. Anything can happen. Yeah.
We'll see if we can get the other 2 drivers in here. And speaking of the second half of the season, you seem to have capitalized a lot last season due to wet weather. The weather hasn't really been much of a factor so far this season. Do you think that would help you moving forward if you could catch a break at a wet weather race and maybe call some of these other guys out? Or is it just T. Jonas is just dialed in for this season?
I mean, a part of it, I guess you could say, can be luck. I've had good and bad luck. Obviously today the bad luck was completely on myself, and I haven't had all the best races I could have. Canada, I think I could have been better as well, but that was again on me. TJ is obviously extremely consistent, and he's putting himself on the podium every week, so he's doing the job that I can't seem to do right now. As for wet weather, I would love a bit of intermediate conditions. Obviously, as he said, last season I did really well on them. I still do now. If there was a completely intermediate, quality intermediate race, I'd swim to pole and swim to victory, if you want to put it like that. I think, because I don't know why, but I just am good in the intermediate conditions, so I wouldn't mind that.
And speaking of TJ, we do have him here in the chat with us now as well. And once again, congratulations on another win, 3rd win of the season, and you're now still batting 1,000. You're 6 for 6, 6 races, 6 podium finishes. What can be said about today's race?
Well, it was a good race. Really just wanted to be consistent and don't really, as usual, don't get tangled up in incidents. And that's the fastest way to the finish line, I think.
And another big day for Mercedes, a 1-2 finish for Mercedes. It looks like Bjorn finally found his own today in running with the Mercedes. Was there any team orders between you guys at all for any reason or anything?
I don't think that was needed today. Langfield had some really good pace and was he was up there with the other guys, and obviously we both had no penalties, and so that helped in the end. But yeah, very good for Mercedes, and really happy to have Langfield with me on the 1-2.
And he didn't join the chat yet, did he?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh, you are here. All right. Good. Wow. Congratulations on your 2nd place finish, man. A Mercedes 1-2. I mean, did you think you'd be finding yourself in that position? Especially towards the end, there was a lot of cars running for that 2nd spot, and time penalties were going to be a factor. Did you expect to come out with 2nd place?
I saw Lux and Aspect battling, so I was just happy to stay in behind them. I knew Lux had a penalty, so I would at least take him, I thought. So I just tried to stay in the slipstream and hope Rowan behind me didn't go for any moves.
Well, congratulations on your 2nd place finish. I think that is actually your first podium this season.
I think so. I've been bad in all the races.
So definitely congratulations on that. Now moving forward, I mean, I briefly touched on it with TJ, but would there be any team orders between you guys heading into the 2nd half of the season if such an occasion came up?
We don't usually have any team orders between us. We like to battle, so stupid battles, so it's fair battles.
Fair enough. And Kevin, back to you real quick. You came home third. It looks like Joe Hollis, though, he's saying he's getting a penalty removed so that he will get third. I don't know how official that statement is, but something to look out for. Maybe you might be losing your podium spot. Any thoughts on that?
No, I have a 3-second to get removed as well, because I got hit and had to go straight on in turn 1 and got a 3-second straight for that. And before that I only had a warning, so I can get that removed potentially as well. So maybe.
I think you will get it removed.
So you'll still retain your third spot. So interesting race, guys. Well, congratulations on everybody on their podium finishes. Again, TJ, his third win of the season. T. Jonas is the points leader. He's gone 6 for 6, 6 races, 6 podium finishes. Bjorn Langfell, his first podium of the season, and Kevin Harrison, another podium finish, but unfortunately you just can't seem to finish in front of your championship rival. So it's unfortunate for you. But congratulations,
guys.
Guys.
The fight between them, to be honest. I never see him on track.
And the fact that it's your third podium of the year, and it's the first one you've had since round 3 at Spain. So you've definitely got some catching up to do. But everybody, thanks for joining in. Thanks for racing and joining us on the live stream. Everybody that was in the chat, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Twitter. It is at F1_IRL for all the news and notes and penalties that'll be given out post-race. And we will see everybody next week. Same IRL time, same IRL channel. We'll see everybody at the next round.